good afternoon to everyone. My name is Sauraj, and I am the co-founder of one of India's leading adventure companies called Adventure Pulse. Today I'm here to take you on a journey of the mountains, a journey of survival, but more importantly, the journey of a paradox that lies at the heart of what it means to be powerful in an age where technology can often make us feel invincible, yet deeply small. Today's theme, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm the universe, I'm the one with the universe, or I'm nothing, depending on the way you see it. Personally, for me, nothing illustrates this paradox more than my experience in the mountains. So, I'm going to share 3 short stories with you. These stories personally transformed me, but more importantly, taught me important lessons. Lessons about how small and powerless can we be in the face of nature, or how vulnerability can be our biggest strength. These stories are from my 3 attempts to climb the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. So let's begin. In the year 2012, me and my colleague Samir, we quit our corporate jobs to start our very own adventure company, Adventure Pulse. And we started climbing across the world. We climbed the highest peak of Europe, we climbed the highest peak of Africa, we climbed in Nepal, we climbed in Ladakh. And after having climbed all these mountains, one of the toughest treks in the world, called the Everest Base Camp Trek, which most people, if you're fortunate, you'll probably do it once in your lifetime. Between me and my colleague Samir, we ended up doing this trek about 64 times. But after having done all these climbs, we decided we want to climb higher, not to the base camp, but higher. So we thought we will make an attempt to climb Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. So, in the year 2015, this was our goal. We thought we're going to go and climb Mount Everest. After about an 8-day-long trek to the Everest base camp, we finally reached the base camp, which looks but like a Tom Cruise movie, we named our expedition Mission Everest 2015, right? The idea was to feel cool. But our task was much bigger. If you look at this map behind you, it looks simple, right? It may seem that you take a week to climb Everest, maybe 15 days, maybe 20 days. But the truth is, an average climber takes up to 55 to 60 days to reach the summit of Everest, an expenditure of about 50 to 60 lakhs per person. And boys and girls, there is no Amazon money back guarantee here. If you don't climb, your money is gone. But the interesting bit is, why does it take 55 to 60 days to climb Everest? It's all because of acclimatization and going slow. When climbers go to base camp, you're actually already at 18,000 feet. You rest and you acclimatize for 3 to 4 days. Once you feel strong, you climb up to Camp 1. You again rest and acclimatize at Camp 1. But instead of going higher up, you come back to base camp. You again rest and carry more loads. You go set up Camp 2. And when you are acclimatized well at Camp 2 after 3 to 4 days, guess what you do? You don't go higher up. You come back all the way down again. And this will give you a sense of why it can take a climber about 55 to 60 days. Well, we started our expedition, and our journey began from base camp. We started climbing through this very famous place called the Khumbu Icefall. We started crossing ladders, crevasses, an extremely dangerous place. And you need to climb this up and down, doing rotations on the mountain multiple times. We were very excited. After all, our Everest journey was coming to life. But God had other plans. Exactly 10 years ago, in April of 2015, the country of Nepal was hit by a huge earthquake. The earthquake was 7.9 on the Richter scale. And Samir and I were part of that. We were at the Everest base camp when this earthquake hit us. I still remember the day as if it was yesterday. We were sitting in this tent, our dining tent, and having a meal, and it was about 12 in the afternoon when we suddenly heard the ground shaking and rumbling below us. In our panic, we ran out of our tent and we started looking towards Everest. After all, that was the highest mountain, the most dangerous mountain in that region. But we realized that we were looking in the wrong direction. The moment we looked back, we saw this huge 1,000-foot tsunami of snow, ice, and debris just racing towards us. It was as if we are standing under a building which is 100 floors, and that building is falling right on you. We had seconds to react. In that panic, we and then the avalanche just hit us. It was as if somebody punched me in the stomach or taken my face and put it under water. I was not able to breathe. For about 40 to 60 seconds, we started getting buried under snow. And finally, when the avalanche stopped, we dug ourselves out of the snow, and what we saw was a scene of complete destruction. It was as if it was a scene from an air crash. As much as I can explain this avalanche to you in words, it doesn't really do justice. I have original video footage of the avalanche, which a fellow climber took from his iPhone 4 at that time. The climber's name was Yosh Kabush, and this is the video that I would like to play for you.
The ground is shaking.
What about if the ground opens up?
Shit. Oh! Oh! No!
Ladies and gentlemen, the avalanche that took place on Everest in 2015 has been recorded as one of the biggest tragedies in the history of mountaineering ever. We lost about 22 climbers at base camp in a matter of 5 minutes. At that point, the nature made us realize, it gave us a reminder as to how small and how powerless we are. There was nothing technology could do. No amount of devices, no amount of algorithm could have saved us. AI could not have helped us there. Yet, in that vulnerability, in that openness, we found our strength. We witnessed teams, Sherpas, climbers from different countries coming together and being open about their fears, talking about their fatigue, talking about their injuries, talking about their pain. And that gave me and my colleague Samir strength to stay back at the Everest Base Camp and help with some rescue and relief efforts for 7 days. This was a photo I showed you a little before. This was our camp. After the avalanche, this was what was left of our camp. But what happened to our Everest dream? In 2015, an avalanche just took it away. It was just a 5-minute disaster. Did we go back? Yes, we did. We went back in 2017. We came back home in 2015. We processed what had happened. We were open about the fact that it was a natural disaster. It could have happened to anyone at any point. So we prepared again, and then, like a Tom Cruise movie Part 2, we went back to Everest, and we called it Mission Everest 2017. The idea was we spent about 52 days on Everest. We went up and down the mountain, we set up our camps, and we did well. We did really well acclimatizing and setting up all the camps required. And then slowly, we started climbing up. We went up to Camp 1, 2, 3, and finally we reached this place called Camp 4, which is also called the Death Zone. It's at 8,000 meters, 850 meters short of the summit. The winds, which were predicted to be at 10 to 20 kilometers an hour, became 100 to 120 kilometers an hour. This is what it looked like. Can we check the sound, please? So we started waiting. Of course, we had the wind predictions, and these weather reports tend to be very accurate. So we started waiting in the death zone. We waited for 10 hours, we waited for 15 hours, and then we waited for 24 hours in the death zone. We had already finished 57 days of climbing, and we were about 12 hours, about 800 meters away from the summit. But 24 hours later, we ran out of the most important resource available to us, which was oxygen. And we had to take a decision. So, for the collective safety of our team, ladies and gentlemen, we decided to turn back. For the second time, we failed at Everest. Yes, AI can give you training plans, it can track your fitness, it can recommend nutrition. But in the face of such nature's fury, only your determination, your openness to accept things, your trust in your teammates, these are the things that can save your life. But again, what happened to Everest? Did we ever climb it? Were we able to get to the top? Giving up was not an idea. We came back and we processed everything that happened. We were open about our fears. We were open about the mistakes we made in 2015 and 2017, and we improved on things. And guess what? We went back for the third time. We went back to climb Everest in 2018. This time, it went like clockwork. The weather was great. There was no avalanche. There was no problem. And finally, on the night of 17th of May of 2018, we started climbing towards the summit of Everest. Can we get the sound?
And Sauraj on the summit of Everest.
Hi guys, this is the summit of Everest. We summited at 3:17 a.m.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to ask this question to yourself. What is your Everest? What is the personal or professional ambition that you are trying to chase? As we step deeper into the world of AI, don't rely only on technology. Run with it, prepare with it, but remember, vulnerability is not a weakness. It can be your strength. Today, I stand before you as a mountaineer, both strong and fragile, someone who's seen the worst of nature, but I've also learned that my biggest strength lies in being human. And that is the truth behind Aham Brahmasmi. Not a claim that you are better or greater than anyone else, but the understanding of the fact that we all are connected to the same thing, to the same universe, to the same nature, to the same mountains, and to each other. Thank you.